Maybe my people on, we're on.
So we good to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're all in on this side. Yeah. Oh, you want to come in? Larry, did you have that in from your so they can come in? Just bring them in so they know that we're going to start.
Good evening, Bellingham. October 21st, 2024. Select board meeting. You can join us for the
Pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we do have quite a bit of exciting announcements this evening. And first, we start with the police department pinning ceremony. Chief.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Pleasure
Pleasure
to
to have
have
you.
Zoom. Hopefully you can hear me. We have with us police officer. You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thumbs up. All right. New police officer. We're the slow slog to getting fully staffed. We'll get there eventually, I swear. This is Dave Zampel. Dave's been a police officer for, much like me, over 20 years. Our paths crossed a long time ago. We were police officers together. I was a sergeant for a while, and then we went our separate ways. Dave's had over 20 years in law enforcement, some time in the UMass system, and a lot of time in the town of Weston. He was a police officer, an FTO, a sergeant, and left to go back to the dreaded private sector campus world a few years ago, but we got him out of there. And so here he is, rejoining the municipal side of things. Dave grew up in Billerica, and like a lot of the guys and girls that work for us, started as a dispatcher, so pretty well-rounded candidate, has an associate's degree, and his family and him live locally. They're all here. His wife, Megan, his kids, Owen, Abigail, and Rocco. And I believe he's being pinned by Owen. You know, Rocco. This is. Didn't want to get stabbed. I mean, I really would be cool with the little guy with the tie doing it. That'd be kind of awesome to watch. And there's plenty of first aid here. All right.
They're great at it.
And we'll also, I guess, before we do the pinning, we'll have town clerk come do the oath of office.
This still. It'll be a bad idea. Gonna do it in itself. Yeah.
Congratulations on your return to police work. And no doubt that the close of office as a new officer within the Bellingham Police Department. You solemnly swear that you will perform your duties as a police officer for the town of Bellingham, that you will not betray the integrity or the character of the department or the trust of the residents of Bellingham, that you will treat all individuals with dignity and respect, and ensure that your actions are dedicated to ensuring the safety of the Bellingham community and the preservation of human life, that you will always hold yourself and others accountable for their actions, maintain the highest ethical standards, uphold the values of the department and the town of Bellingham, and that your actions will be bound by the charter and bylaws of Bellingham and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the United States of America. Yes.
You gotta do it, buddy. Right. One of the paramedics.
This. And there you go. And I'm doing something. Is it gonna help? All right. You close it? Yeah. Nice. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in 2 meetings with a return player to be named later who's returning from another team.
Awesome.
That's an exciting one.
And that's absolutely it.
You guys want to do a picture before we go? We'll do this all the time.
Oh.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. This side.
Now, the next one is more exciting news with the fire department. Printing ceremony. How you doing, Chief?
Good evening, everyone. Members of the board, public, family, friends, thank you. As a tradition in the fire service, whenever a person gets promoted to we call it the job or the profession, or gets promoted within rank, we always do a formal pinning. And tonight we had to do 3 formal pinnings. This one's kind of unique. It's really neat in its own way. So the progression was former Captain Provost is going to become Deputy Provost tonight. Former Lieutenant Lister is going to become Captain Lister, and former firefighter Logan is going to become Lieutenant Logan. However, all 3 members work in the same group. So it's really kind of neat to watch the progression and see that happen. So at this point here, I'd like to have Deputy Provost come up. I'd like to have his dad come up as well too. Robbie joined the department in 2012 as a firefighter. He was promoted to lieutenant in 2020, captain in, and captain in 2022. Now the deputy chief here in 2024. Robbie's being pinned by his father, Robert Provost Jr. And he was also a member of the Bellingham Fire Department back when we had a call department during the day. Sir, please.
Good job. It's easy to hold our example. There's still no instruction. I wouldn't.
Everyone, your picture, please.
I know which one you're looking at.
Very focused.
Good.
Thank you. Yeah, bring it back up. Next is Mark Lister. Mark is being promoted from lieutenant to captain. Mark joined the department in 2013, became lieutenant in 2022, and now in 2024 is being promoted to captain. Mark is being pinned tonight by his wife, Gina. Gina, please. Thank you. Eugenia, looking at that. Next coming up is Derek Logan. Derek was appointed to the department in 2021 and now being promoted to lieutenant in 2024. Derek, come up, please. Derek is being pinned by his wife tonight, Kathleen, who is also a career firefighter. We won't hold this against you in the town of Sudbury. So, Kathleen's here in our Class A, and we'll be pinning her husband tonight. Thank you. Again, thank you to the board. Thank you to members of the family, public, brothers and sisters in blue. Thank you very much for the support. And
Larry.
we need Larry to come up now and do the swearing in.
You could do all three right here.
Yeah.
Oh,
do it
perfect.
easier.
Yep, whatever's easier.
Congratulations. My congratulations on your you always pray that in your new role, you will continue to perform your duties as a firefighter in the town of Bellingham. That you will not betray the integrity of the character of the captain. That you will treat all individuals with dignity and respect, and ensure that your actions are dedicated to the safety of the Bellingham community and the preservation of the community. That you will always hold yourself and others accountable for their actions and retain the highest ethical standards that hold the values of the department of the community. Your actions and the Bellingham, the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you.
Like to stay around, you more than welcome to. We got other things to do. Yeah. Yes, those maps.
I know. Yeah.
Get one.
Did you say something? I told him to say it.
It's nice to see them, isn't it? I'm being definitely about that.
Sure. Yeah, please. See ya.
Take care.
You too.
Talk to you later, boy.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. You take care of yourself too.
You can have play.
I told them to stay. Yeah.
Like, quick.
Shut the door, I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a window there.
That's fine.
So, the next one is on the agenda. Maple Gate. 61B right of first refusal notice. Mr. Peter Brown.
Yes.
How are you? How you doing tonight?
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, members of the board, we're here tonight for my client's notice to the town of Bellingham that it is selling property and they have enjoyed a tax exemption, essentially a tax discount that they've gotten from the town of Bellingham for the golf course through a recreational tax exemption. And so the law says when you've entered into your agreement and you've dealt with all your contingencies, you go through all your permitting, which we've done through Franklin and Bellingham for the past year. The last part of it is we have to give notice to the communities and notify you that you have the right to step in for the buyer and acquire the property. The purchase price of this property is $25 million. It's property that's situated both in Franklin and Bellingham. We are setting 2 solar arrays, access through Bellingham, the arrays going and being in Franklin, just like we did the permitting process. We did the 61B process in Franklin first, and then we coming back to you in Bellingham. So I've been coming to this room for the better part of a year and 2 months. This is, I believe, this could be the tonight or next one, my final visit before they'll be applying for some permits, doing the closing and going forward. Should you choose not to exercise the right of first refusal, we have a document, which is exactly what we've done in Franklin. We take a vote, sign it, we record it at the registry, and we go and proceed with the closing. With respect to Bellingham, you are entitled, your assessor will do a review and charge us some rollback taxes. That happens under the statute, so we'll get that bill and go and process that, as well as part of the planning board decisions in both solar arrays. There's a financial contribution going to the Bellingham Fire Department upon issuance of a permit and then starting their work. So this would be our final step. Then we would do the logistics of the closing, and they would go forward and start their project. Most likely, we'd probably be looking at a closing sometime in December of this year. I can give you, I don't know if you'd like me to or not, but when we did Franklin, Mr. Helen, the town administrator, ran some numbers for the town. If you need me to, I could go and give you what he provided to the board.
I estimated 3.5 million. Is that about what you have? If the board wanted to exercise, it's right now.
About 3.5% interest rate.
At 143,000 per acre. Is that about?
Roughly.
Yeah, okay.
Roughly, yeah. So he came up with that 25.3, and he did 3.5 interest rate over 20 years, and it cost the town roughly 1.80.
We wouldn't finance it, we just buy them.
But what we did is we provided the notice. We have to give it to all of the boards, so they have a right to go and give you notice. We have to give you copies of the contract and identify the parcels for you, which we have done. So our request of you on behalf of Maplegate Realty Trust, Sally Winters as trustee, and Shirley French, who's the trustee of the Great Wall Realty Trust, is that you take a vote to decline the right of first refusal, and then we can go and proceed. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah, so essentially we got 90 days to exercise from the date that we received the document, which was, I know you got a copy of the page, I didn't give you the document. So if there is serious consideration to purchasing the property, but I think the $3.5 million for that particular parcel makes it difficult to think that we would, pursue that. As Attorney Brown said, it has gone through the process here in Bellingham and in Franklin and. I don't know if you want to, you certainly don't have to make a decision tonight. The estimated rollback, I think the assessors had it at less than $25,000, so. Putting that number together, yeah, we provide that number, at the time of, at the time of conveyance, I guess, is when that happens, or closing, yeah. So. But, yeah.
Can we, think about it, we'll let them know after we have a conversation with the assessor's office.
Yep, well, it has nothing to do with the
Not
assessors.
just saying that, yeah.
Yeah, but certainly, if you wanted to deliberate on it till the next meeting or schedule it at a future meeting as the board's prior to do that, as I say, you have 90 days and it happens by default.
I know they are via Zoom, but I'd like to have the older board members are with us
Yeah,
to make
for
a
the-
decision
for the-
on this. Do you, everyone agree on that? I rather than deliberate a little bit and then you guys will make it this.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
if I may, yeah, I agree with you. I would like to deliberate and discuss this
Yep.
piece of property. Yeah, it seems very expensive, but it's also a really nice piece of property too. So I'd like for us to have a conversation before we make a decision.
that's Mike, Jen?
I agree with you, Mr. Chair.
Jen? Perfect, we got thumbs up, and
Yeah, that's fine with me. I think it'd be good to have us all five
Yeah.
here in person to do this.
yeah, if you don't mind, you guys,
It's Monday in November.
okay, yeah, we'll
Okay.
deliberate and then you guys, we'll meet by then.
Yeah, it's for Franklin. Then Franklin had a conversation the
Yeah.
first night, and then they came back and then they voted the document on the second meeting, so it was the same process.
That's perfect. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
then.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for hanging around a little bit, you know.
No,
Yeah,
Very nice.
Great, great things.
Very nice ceremony.
Pleasure to have you.
Good evening, thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so,
Yes.
yeah, the next one is, on the agenda. Traffic Advisory Committee, recommendations. Jesse, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
Good, I'm doing okay.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you all for meeting with me tonight. Essentially, we have here in front of us a memo from the DPW. And this is essentially a result of what we had created, Bellingham's Traffic Advisory Committee. As you're all aware of, we deal with a number of requests that come from citizens, obviously to modify traffic patterns and things of that nature. And what we've done at a local level is formulated a committee to vet through these requests to make sure they're valid, to make sure that they're achievable, but also to make sure we're in line with the MUTCD code. And for those that don't know, the acronym is the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices. And this was recently updated in 2023. With part of the new procedure, we are looking to add select board approval to any of the major modifications, to any roadway modifications. And these might include things such as streetlights, changing traffic patterns, crosswalks, RRFBs, or rectangular rapid flashing beacons. And what we have here tonight is a result of numerous TAC meetings and recommendations for the board to review and potentially approve tonight. So if you'd like, I can go through each of the requests or recommendations that we have tonight. If the board has a preference as to whether or not we approve individually, or if we'd like to do it as a whole, I'm open to either, whatever seems to make the most sense for the board.
Can I jump in this?
Go ahead.
So whole TAC committee, it's as well as Jesse actually put a lot of hours and study behind this. I think everything is the way it's supposed to be. And I already seen this before actually presented to us tonight. And if anybody have any questions to Jesse, please do so. I don't have any questions at the moment. I think everything is where it needs to be, but as I said, it's we are all ears. If Mr. Martinez or Mr. Hennessy or Mr. Altamonte, I know they are via Zoom. If they have any questions, please go ahead, do so. And as well as Sebastian right next to me. Anyone, have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I guess the question, hey, Jesse, I read through everything and I'm fine with it all. This committee is new to me, being on the board. I haven't, obviously you spent a lot of time over the past year going through this. But I just have a question more. When do you have meetings and who's on, maybe, who's on the board? I'm not questioning members of the board. I'm just curious as to how you come up with these recommendations, because over the past few years, we've had a number of residents come before the select board asking for speed bumps, like on Taunton Street and in other areas in town to slow the traffic down. So I see a speed bump on Elbow. I'm familiar with Elbow. I know it uses a cut through. I'm very much in favor of slowing traffic down on that corner for sure. I don't know where it'll be placed, but we have other areas in town. So I'm just curious as to when do you meet, and how does a resident get in contact with you to say, hey, I'd like to meet with the committee and discuss some changes to my street, etc.
Yeah, great questions. So essentially, our committee does meet on a monthly basis. We typically have this posted well in advance with the town clerk. And the committee is comprised of, so we based it on positions as opposed to individuals. We thought it fitting to have DPW representative, myself. We have a planner or representative. At the time, it was Amy Sutherland is on there. Our safety officer, Sergeant Padula. We have the town administrator or representative. So Beth Cornell Smith is currently in attendance, as well as a select board member, and Sahan is on the committee for the select board. But yes, typically it's monthly. And the idea behind it is to vet through any of the requests that come up, give us time to digest what's coming through and make sure the recommendation is a valid one. We want to make sure that we're improving safety and not going backward on these. So the idea behind the monthly meetings was to avoid some of the knee-jerk reaction. And it's working quite well. We're getting a lot of input from various areas. DPW might have one outlook on an item that's proposed, and we might get something entirely different from planning or on the safety side. So we've had terrific feedback from this committee. And we do have a form available online for residents to fill out and send in. We do have various means that they can be sent in, whether it be TAC for Transportation Advisory Committee at bellinghamma.org, or they can send it to the DPW. But all of this is found on the Bellingham website.
Great, thank you. I think for the folks that watch this the next day on YouTube, I think that's very helpful. So thank you.
Excellent, absolutely.
And just to highlight it, and actually also answer Mr. Martinez's question. And there was a lot of actually questions came up, throughout the whole last year. Am I right, Jesse? We actually looked at it quite a bit of cases, and we usually each department, they look at the details, and also Sergeant Padula goes and assesses all these requests. And then after that, we gather all the information and then try to make a decision on those basis. So a lot of early meetings. Thank you. Jesse, can you? Okay. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect.
So if you'd like, I can either run through each of the requests, or
I don't think that.
however the board prefers on this.
I think we got it pretty much down, Jesse. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Does anybody else have any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr.
No.
Martinez? Mike?
But no, I'll go ahead, Mr. Chair. If there's no objection, I'd like to make a motion to approve the traffic committee's recommendations as presented.
Second.
Okay, we got first, we got second. Anybody have any questions? Jen? No? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Jen? Oh, she said aye. Oh, sorry. I gotta switch my glasses. Okay, thank you. So, 5-0.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jesse.
Thanks, Jesse.
Good work, Jesse.
Thank you.
Okay. So next one is sign the November 5th, 2024 election warrant.
Yeah, I know.
Vote on
I don't know.
police presence.
So you guys can sign it while you're here, but I'm gonna have to get another signature. There's only
It's
two.
basically, you're acknowledging the fact that
Yeah.
police will be present at
Okay.
the.
We need to vote on that. So you're just signing the election warrant, and then we actually need to do a vote that you would allow police presence at the polling location.
Okay.
You want me to take the vote now?
Sure.
Yeah, so moved. Can I have a second?
We have a second.
Thank you.
So
Who
we
did
got
that?
Mr. Martinez.
I was on mute. Did you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes, we did. Thanks, Don. So we got first, we got second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, perfect. 5-0. Thank you.
Yep.
You got the data or we need to date it?
I can date it.
Okay.
I'm gonna need, when is the next
You'll-
person in town? When's someone in town?
Hillary, I'm back Friday. I don't know if you need it before then, but I have a question.
You
Wednesday,
what?
yeah.
I'm back Wednesday afternoon.
Okay, if you could come, do you think you could swing by Wednesday or Thursday?
I can swing by Wednesday. I'll probably be out of here by like 1 o'clock, so I'll probably be back in Bellingham by 2:30.
Perfect.
Perfect. Mr. Martinez, did you have any question?
No, I'm back Friday, but if Mr. Hennessy has it covered, there's no issue.
Yeah, that's fine. I just need a majority.
I was just going to ask a question. I guess this is more of a Mass General Law question. You know, in the age of Zoom and with, tools like DocuSign, if there are folks that are away, why couldn't we leverage something like DocuSign? I mean, it's perfectly legal. Documents, contracts, mortgage app, all that stuff can be handled by DocuSign today. So I'm just curious why something like this, if need
It
be,
can be.
could be DocuSign.
I'm not sure if that can be. I think you have to find out.
We could find out.
Question.
And
Just-
Karen.
I'm just
yeah,
asking to find out.
how much-
Yeah, we could find out about that,
Yeah,
Don.
maybe ask town
I would
council.
think so, right?
Dog sign? No?
Yeah, you'd have to ask town council.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, actually, that's a great point. Yeah, we'll find out.
We can follow up on that.
Yeah, I just think in today's day and age, who knows?
Yeah.
You
Mr.
know,
Martinez, thank you. That's a great input. Perfect. So we got that done. So the next one, zoning bylaw review committee appointments.
Remember? Yep. You have the list that I gave you.
Yes. They have it.
So we just need to formally appoint these individuals to the zoning bylaw review committee.
Perfect.
Jeff's going to back in.
He's on there.
Yep. So do you want me to do the
All
whole
of
list?
them, yep.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve Mr. John Martinez, Mr. Phil Devine, Mr. Brian Salisbury, Ms. Liz Bertholet, Mr. Don Colo, Mr. Steve Kohler, Mr. Jeff Skornavakia as members of the bylaw review committee. And ad hoc members would be Mr. Rob Lucier and Mr. Tim Harding.
I second.
Okay, so we got first, we got second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
5-0.
Okay.
Mr. Martinez?
I don't know if I can vote on myself to be on the committee, so I say aye, but I will abstain if need be.
I'm sure it's fine.
And
I don't think
we
it
would like
matters.
to thank, actually, all those people, they come forward to help us out with this fantastic idea.
Yep.
I think it was definitely, it was time to, to review all this process. I greatly appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you. And the next one is a historical commission appointment.
Yep, so you remember last week, or
Yep.
last meeting, we had two people who are interested in the open seat on the historical commission. There's only one open seat. There was Doug Snook and Lauren Hummel.
Okay, and recommended by,
Was there anyone recommended by the historical committee?
Well, Lauren's been working there since 2020, I
Yeah.
think.
Since COVID, she started volunteering there to do her senior tax work hours, and she's been there.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Lauren, if you can pronounce her last name for me.
Hummel?
Hummel, Lauren Hummel for the Historical Commission. I have had conversations with a few members of that commission, and she comes highly recommended, and she knows it already. I'm very thankful to the other gentleman that came forward. He seems very passionate. And it's too bad, we couldn't have more members, but I'm recommending Lauren, or making a motion to recommend Lauren.
Let's take the motion and then I'd like to, yeah,
I seconded it.
we got second, so we got first, we got second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. That's perfect, 5-0. And on that topic, Mr. Martinez, they just highlighted, I think they both fantastic. And we are really thankful for both of them. I wish we can find a way, maybe alternate member or some other option to somehow get Doug involved too.
Yep, so what I'm gonna do is I
Yeah,
talked to Bernadette.
I think he was so passionate,
Mhm.
and I think it's when we have people like that, and we definitely, we wanna encourage them, so they can actually get involved.
Absolutely, so I had a conversation with Bernadette.
Yep,
And after this meeting, I'm going to reach out to Mr. Snook and let him know.
Yep.
And give him Bernadette's contact information, and she wants to speak to him about when their meetings are, and so he can get involved that way.
oh, that's awesome, that's perfect.
Yep.
That's fantastic, that's win-win.
Yep.
Thank you very much,
You're welcome.
good. Anybody else have any questions? That's perfect.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so
All right.
we move it along. Awesome. Any old business?
Do not have any.
Dennis? No?
Nope. No business.
Any new business?
No, I do not have any.
Perfect.
Actually, there was
Right.
one bit of old business. It had to do with the request on the ball fields. I just
Oh,
sent an email.
yeah, you're right,
I
I'm
didn't have a
sorry, yeah.
chance to see that.
Yeah.
I just read the,
so
you
the-
wanna-
Yeah, so essentially, I received a call from two members of the girls softball league, the president and one other member, and I asked them to, put their concerns in writing, and they did put it in. They feel that they've got a growing program. They don't have the capacity to release any of the fields. I know Mr. Govain seemed to think that that committee supported this endeavor, meaning the girls softball. Maybe he spoke with people that are affiliated somehow with the organization, but they came out with a really extensive list of reasons why they think it's not a good idea, and they're already pressed for space now. So I would suggest that we let Mr. Govain know that based on this, and I can certainly send him a piece of this correspondence, that those fields are not an option. It may be that the softball fields at the high school could be an option. I could certainly ask Judy Simpson to have the school committee consider that if in fact there's an opportunity there. I know the men's over 30 plays down there and the women's softball plays down there. Maybe there's an opportunity there, but it seems like at High Street there isn't, based on what the president sent us.
Yeah, it's, I read the email, it seems like they don't have the space, but if there is a space available at the high school fields, and if there are times slots, and obviously, it's gonna cost them all, and whatever the details might be, and it's maybe they will I wouldn't just say no right away, but I mean, at least, if he can direct him.
We'll direct him to Judy, and obviously Judy
Yeah.
brings that before the school committee, I would imagine, or, certainly the superintendent, and they can see if there's an opportunity there or not.
Yeah, that would be my piece. If anybody else would like to say anything, please,
That's John did.
sorry.
Yeah, I started to say, I had received a phone call about a little more than a week ago from a parent of a child that plays in, and this person's also going to be a potential board member, and she expressed that she was definitely not in favor, and she kind of gave me a bunch of reasons why. One is that they're struggling for field, if there's rainouts and etc. And she just said it would just really complicate matters for them. And I listened to her, and she brought up a lot of valid points. And I know that I'm, as I said before, in favor of those fields being used, and I want them to be used, but the priority is always to the Girls Softball Association. So I had said, well, I strongly recommend you reach out to the president of your league and reach out to Dennis or Hillary, and even come in if you want to, but I don't think that's necessary. And I read the letter too, and I'm not in favor of turning the softball fields over to that program. I'd rather just keep it in town. I think if, here's a classic example. Let's just say that the fields were all scheduled out. Say we said yes, and the fields were all scheduled out. And then you have a situation where Bellingham girls softball has a rain out on a Monday. Now they want to move that game to a Tuesday because playoffs are starting, and this is realistic. You know, folks scheduling programs, and then all of a sudden, what's there is that Franklin group is there, and they call them and say the Franklin group, you need to move, and then a conflict ensues. I can see this happening more often than not. The more I thought about it, so I just think we need to err on, let's just leave it in town, the in-town program. And if the high school fields are available, they can work through the high school and go from there. So that's just my 2 cents. I did give it a lot of thought, and I just think it needs to stay in town.
Yeah, Ms. Sebastian?
And nobody else up there? I'm gonna agree with Don. I read the letter from Mr. Lakin, and after I read all of his concerns and everything he said, it really made a lot of sense to me, and I was very hesitant to have those fields given to someone who is not from the town, you know, to a group that's not from the town. As far as the high school fields, I don't think we should speak for anything to do with the high school fields or anything. Yep, direct them to them. That is completely up to the school committee to decide if and when or they want to do anything with that. But for us, I think the case was made not to do that with the high street fields, and I think we're just better off leaving it alone.
Anybody else? Mr. Hennessy?
Yeah, I'm just gonna back up Ms. Sebastian and Don, keep it in town and not speak. No, we can't speak for the schools. Let the school committee make.
Yep.
I mean, they have control over the fields anyway, you know, it's obviously we have, and no one has any say to it. Mrs. Altamonte, anything you want to add or?
I guess my vote will come when I sit on the school committee, when we talk about it at our meeting. But I mean, I'm worth investigating it more. I don't think we've done enough to actually investigate it, but I think I'll wait until the school committee hears it and then go from there.
Okay, it's perfect, so
Thank you.
just we'll let him get in touch with them. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Okay, and I just had a couple of other items, Mr. Chairman. Let's see here. There was a posting on social media about the Hectate project, the battery storage. There was a couple of comments, some misinformation there. So the planning board is holding a public hearing on Thursday where it'd be much the same as the presentation that we had. So encourage residents to attend that if they have any concerns or any questions. That'll be this Thursday. And you can check for their agenda online. I don't know where it's positioned on their agenda.
On that, is there any way can we post that on our Facebook page? All the information?
We can put the planning board's public hearing notice on our
Can
Facebook.
we do that?
Because that would be very helpful to people.
And then, you know, it's having the right information, you know, it's
Certainly, it was with battery storage, and people were thinking that's another way of getting warehouses in, and obviously it has nothing to do with
There
warehouses.
was a lot of comments about
Traffic,
it.
yeah, so I think we need to make sure that people are aware of that. The administrative search committee, your next meeting, you will have 4 candidates and resumes, not the candidates appearing, but you'll have the recommendations from the search committee and be in a position to schedule interviews at that point in time. So the search committee, I talked to Mr. Shaheen earlier last week, and very excited about the caliber of candidates that that we received. So we're confident that the board's going to be pleased. So we'll be looking to schedule that during the month of November, and I'm sure Hillary will be trying to figure out some dates once we make that announcement public, and it transitions in nicely. With I think ideally you'd have somebody in place the first week of January and start the new year. Someone's going to, obviously whoever we select would have to give notice. We'll have the budget well underway, and at least the person coming in will have a starting point. Same with the negotiations. We were going to talk negotiations this evening, but we'll put that off till the next meeting when all 5 members are here.
Yep.
We've done a lot of preliminary work on that. Same thing when the person, whoever the new administrator is, at least they'll have a starting point. There's 5 contracts up, and
we hate to have them walking in with
Right.
nothing done on the budget, nothing done on the negotiations, so they'll be able to pick it up and put their own, put their own twist on it at that point in time. Be theirs to take in and run. The DPW is having a ribbon cutting ceremony on Saturday from 10 to 12. So they'll have some trucks pulled out for a touch of truck and ribbon cutting, and hopefully members of the board can come to cut the ribbon. So
I would just like to speak on that. I've been on that DPW building committee, and that building is really awesome. Tim has been
Gorgeous.
absolutely the main guy for everything there, thank God. But
Thank you.
we encourage people to come and see it. It's really exciting to have a new DPW building in the town of Bellingham. I'm very excited, considering I've been, my whole political career, I've used that old building, gone in and out of that. So I think this is exciting for the DPW. It's kind of a whole new era for them. So it's exciting. I hope you all come.
yep, the notice has been published on Facebook. It's 2:15.
Is Don gonna go?
Depot Street, Don DiMartino.
Yeah.
We'll have to make sure we. let him
Yeah, I know, I hope he knows.
I know, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, so
215 Depot Street, I think it's at 10 a.m.
10
10
a.m.,
a.m.
right?
It is at 10 a.m.
Yeah,
Yeah.
snacks and treats for the kids. And as I say, the truck, Jesse's pulling some of the vehicles out, so the kids will be able to
Such
climb
a-
on the vehicles and enjoy that as well, so.
That's a great,
Great accomplishment.
Right, and we're
building
looking,
looks beautiful.
Yeah.
It's,
they did a great job of it, and yeah, I can't thank Tim enough for
yeah, it's
serving
absolutely.
as the
Yes.
OPM for that and being on that, and it just looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Town council board, as the board knows, we're putting that off to the first meeting in December, just to make sure we get through town meeting, and I know we had some delays with everybody being here. I know all 5 members want to be here when we have that discussion. And so that'll be the first meeting in December, that first Monday.
Perfect.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Good. Thank you very much. So looks like
Yeah, so we're gonna pass over the executive session.
okay,
Till
it's
next
perfect.
meeting, right? Yeah.
So it looks like it would satisfy our all agenda
I'll
items.
make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we got first, we got second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Perfect.
Great.
So
Hey, all you people who are away, enjoy yourselves.
yeah.
Hey, thank you. Sorry you couldn't be
We're
there.
holding
This
down
was-
the fort.
Yeah.
This was a planned business trip many weeks ago, so I apologize for not being in
Don't be
attendance, but
nice.
it worked. Thank you.
That's perfect.
Good night.
7:46.
Good night.
Thank you
Good
very
night.
much. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful trip.
Thanks.
Are we up?
I think so.
Now it'll tell us when we're off. Off? Nope, not yet.
We're off ABMI.
So that was
That was easy.